Hi, and welcome to Beat the Boredom. With me, Gabriel Clark, where we'll show you how to make some quick and easy woodworking projects that you can make at home. I'm here with Common Way at Axminster Tools, where we're going to show you how to make this wooden smartphone speaker so you can listen to your music at extra volume. So, let's get into it.
Okay, so Gabriel, what we're going to do is make one of these phone holders or speakers, but to do that we're going to try our very best to just use hand tools, okay? Because we understand that not everybody's got a workshop and machinery. We've got a couple of bits of timber there, we've got some brown oak and we've got some pine. We're going to give you our dimensions as we go along, but obviously all smartphones are slightly different, so you're going to have to make it fit your own smartphone. But there's quite a few tools on the table here, so we're going to list through these before we start making anything. We've got a bunch of files here, so both round, square and flat. We've got some file rasps as well to remove a little bit more stock than just the file. We've got a couple of measuring devices, so we've got a vernier, we've got a rule, we've got a coping saw, and we've got a pull saw. And the pull saw is there for good reason. We're going to be cutting some fairly hard timber, and if we use a push saw all the time, it's a little bit tough. You're never guaranteed on a straight cut, so we're going to play with the pull saw, which I know you like. It's one of your favourite tools, isn't it?
Love it, it's amazing.
And of course, we want this all square and lovely, so we're going to use a square here, and then we thought maybe let's make it a little bit different. We're going to add some little feet. Rather than glue this thing together, we're going to actually bolt it together as well. So I think we need to think about getting started. Okay, so first things first, we're not going to be using machines. We've already said that we're going to try and avoid as many machines as possible. So it's all about the hand tools. But we need to think about our eyes, don't we? We're not going to be doing any sanding just yet. We're not going to be using any noisy machinery or anything like that. So goggles are the thing that we need to wear to make sure that we don't get any chips in our eyes, because we're going to be doing some hand sawing and some filing, okay? So goggles first, and then we can start marking up.
Lovely.
Okay, so first things first, we've got our PPE on, so next thing is cutting our pieces to length. And if we measure this one, we're up to, what do we say, we're 130. So what do you want to do?
So 140.
I got one better, okay then. So if you measure 140 and then use the square to describe your line.
About there.
Yeah.
And then there again.
Now you've done that, just to give yourself a better sight line, why don't you turn it up now and mark the top as well.
Okay.
That's it. Now you're going to hold it in the vise, but you need to hold it so that line is over mid-air, so bring them along. This is the reason we've kept this piece so long. So it's a nice long piece, it's easier to handle at this stage. Cut down your scribe line right the way to the bottom, so we've got that nice piece ready to go.
Yeah.
All right?
Well, let's get sawing.
Go for it. Fantastic. So Gabriel's managed to cut that really, really hard bit of oak. So that's going to be our main piece, isn't it, really?
Yeah, so this is going to be the piece in the middle here.
Unfortunately, that's the hardest piece. That's going to be the bit that's shaped the most of any other bit. So that's to come. That's to come. Why don't you cut the same dimension on the piece of pine for the top and the bottom? It's a bit that's going to sandwich the oak now. So do everything you've just done. And can you explain to everybody how you position that saw right at the beginning?
All right. Well, first of all, we're going to mark it on 140mm as we did just a minute ago. And as Colin pointed out, we've got to do one on top as well.
Yeah, just makes things a bit easier.
Okay, and now to saw. I'm going to rest my index finger on the side which we want. So just to make sure that when I'm sawing, it doesn't go over the edge and I cut it a bit under 140mm, just so it's all neat and tidy.
Perfect.
That's done.
Okay, another one of those, don't we? We need 2 of those, so we're going to have a top and a bottom. There we are, so 1 more.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to keep my finger still on the piece we want.
Fastest sawing I've seen, that is. Well, Gabriel's just done a magic job. He's cut up all the timber. You hot?
I'm not too bad.
It's a bit of a workout for the day. So the next job is deciding where the phone's going to go. We need to create that slot. So if I bring one of these in, we've got to create the slot the phone sits in.
So I'm going to move mine over to around here. And I'm going to put a mark on there. And there. And what are we thinking? About 25?
About 25 mil back.
So we're going to do 25 mil back. So there we go, 25 there. And we'll do 1 there. A long line across.
Okay, so we've got the central line there. We've got our width. Now all we need to do is put a series of holes through them. We're going to use a pillar drill to do that. You can use a hand drill. Just make sure you're using it with somebody that knows how to use the hand drill. But a series of holes, the same width as the phone actually. This is 9mm, this drill bit, so which is just a slight bit bigger than your phone, so it's going to sit in there nicely. So off to the drill. Okay, so we've got the pillar drill here. Now I know you've got your own pillar drill in your own workshop at home, but this is for people that have never used one. Remember what we've already said, you could use a cordless drill or even a hand drill, no problem.
What do you have at home?
But we're just going to do what we call a letterbox of holes, just a series of holes along that we can then file out afterwards. We're always thinking safety, aren't we? And you come up with a suggestion earlier that we've put on here. So we've put a little bit of a backing piece of timber. We're going to drill all the way through the top of our piece of timber here, but we put a bit of backing timber here. And that allows us just to slide this piece along nicely and keep the holes in the right place. Well, we're going to drill all the way through, so just keep going. We set the stop here for it just to hit the sacrificial piece. Okay, so you go all the way down through until it stops, up, nice and slowly and controlled. Slide it along a little bit and we'll do the next hole.
Okay.
All right, away we go. That's brilliant. So what we've got here, Gabriel's just drilling beside the first hole, slightly overlapping, so there is no timber in between the two. Let's have a look. That's pretty good.
That's pretty much done.
Yeah, let's tap that out. Excellent. All that's left to do next is to file. Okay, so we've done the holes, we've used the pillar drill to drill the holes. Now, Gabriel's got to do some more hot work and file those series of holes nice and flat. So what are you going to use? What tools have we got there?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to draw a line that I want to file to along the edge of all the holes. But we've got a sort of raspy file. This is more for sort of harder work.
Yeah, it gets all the real big bits out first, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then we've got a nice old school smooth file, and that's just for the finishing touches before sanding. So, should we mark on the lines?
Yeah, mark it. So we're literally just marking lines to file to keep everything nice and straight. It's quite easy. You can get confused with the grain that's running in the same direction, so a line is far easier to follow.
So I'm gonna slot it through, and I'm gonna go at a diagonal. So I'm not filing in one spot, so I don't mess up the circles.
You're almost there already.
Alright, now to do the other side.
You're going to smooth that out now with the smooth file?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now we've filed it, I'm going to mark on the inside of this. I'm going to mark it onto our piece of wood here, and then we're going to mark on where the speakers are. So your pencil might be a bit too thick to do this, but just try your best. I've gone around the outside, so now we have a pencil mark on here. And now we can take it off. Put your smartphone on and mark where your speaker ends. Now I think we're going to drill out this space here and then the tedious work of cutting.
So what we need to do to make sure our timber comes out once the cut has been placed is 3 holes, do you reckon, down there?
2 or 3.
And then we can cut to those holes and that'll release the piece of waste wood in the middle. All right?
Yeah, well,
Okay,
let's get to that.
Drilling again.
Okay, so we just finished drilling out and filing out the recess for my speakers. So now I'm going to draw my own design, going from the little recess out to the edges. So I think I might do one long straight edge and then one slightly wiggly shorter edge.
Gabriel, explain what you're about to do.
Alright, so I'm just going to start off the cut. So it's in this orientation because I'm cutting it at an angle, it means that the blade is going to want to slip away. So if I start off by doing a few cuts to sort of make almost a notch, so I have a place to carry on cutting once I flip it around. So let's use our finger as a sort of break barrier. Don't cut it off.
I'd go for as long as you can whilst it's in there, as long as it's not in your way. Because
Well,
you've got better control like that. And you can see where Gabriel's ending up. He's aiming straight for the hole that we've just drilled, so we've got a nice little join. Remember, this is supposed to be fun, Gabriel, so just nice and slow.
I'm not having fun here, he's making me do all the work.
If you need a hand, I'll get in at the end just to take the glory.
I'll never let that happen.
So do you want to get it in a position now where you can see your line and that we can start thinking about using the coping saw?
I'm going to start it off with this one. Done that just because now I have a notch to rest the coping saw in, so I can move it around a bit more freely.
The reason that we're using the coping saw, of course, is to get around all of those curves. The pull saw is great for a straight cut, but it won't do the curves like the coping saw will.
I need to touch up some of the edges because
What do you
come
mean? It's perfect. We're mixing up the flat files, the rasps, and the half rounds as well, just to get into all those little areas. It's a really hard timber, so the files work really well on it. Coping saws don't. Again, it's one of those processes. Out of the sawing of that waste and now the filing of the waste is the longest of the whole process. So just take your time, have fun with it. Okay, so we're gonna drill this. We want to drill through it as one piece. So we're just taping it into position.
let's cut off that. Okay, so I've just finished rounding off the corners on the belt sander. I know, not the machine, not great. You can do that just by hand sanding, or in fact you can even use a saw to just cut off the edges a bit. Yeah. But I finished sanding on there and I'm just going to do a bit of hand sanding now to finish it off a bit. But of course, first I need to take the tape off.
We had a discussion on as to what finish we should use, and we sort of agreed on finishing oil. It's nice and easy to apply. You don't have to wait for it to dry too much. We're only going to put a couple of coats on this one, so we'll put the first one on, let that dry overnight, and then apply the next. If you use sanding sealers and waxes, that's an instant finish. Or a lacquer. Lacquer takes a little bit longer to dry, but once it's dry, it's a really, really hard finish.
And if you're using like a cheaper wood, you can just paint it. You don't even have to put an oil on it, really.
You get some cool colours going, can't you? It's sort of. Colour, Gabriel.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Perfect, isn't it? Ready?
Yeah. So we need to oil the top of that one as well.
Top of that one, right. And on this one, the underside, look, because we'll see a bit of it, won't we?
Of course.
So yeah, let's. There we are, and we can wipe off any of the excess. It's the one thing with oil, isn't it, that if you leave it too thick, if you leave it to pool on the surface, it'll go sticky and it never dries, sort of thing. So wipe off all the excess, let that then set. Right then, assembly time. We've done all the hard work, haven't we? Or you've done all the hard work, sorry.
You did the cooping saw, which is a rough bit.
Well, I'll let you do the finishing, crowning glory and put it together.
Alright, well, let's hope I get it the right way round. So that on top, that below, that on top. Like
that's it, yeah, perfect.
Three-layer sandwich. Yeah, I mean, you can use glue to assemble it, but Colin hates mess. So we're going to use little bolts instead.
So while you're doing that, what would you say, what did you enjoy most about that build?
What I enjoy most? Probably using power tools and not having to do everything by hand. But I did enjoy the filing. Actually.
Really?
Yeah. I enjoyed spinning everything out.
Well, I know where to come when I need a load of filing done then in that case.
Oh no, you don't get my help.
Wonderful.
Alright, well that is the phone speaker done.
Oh, we're going to try it.
Are we going to try
Let's give it a go.
I think we should.
We hope you've enjoyed making this with us. If you like this video, share it with your friends, hit like and subscribe for more great videos like this.
And of course, thank you for watching and see you guys again soon.